Henry and I had sort of wanted to work together for a while, and Henry said, I'm going to send you over a script. Read it and tell me what you think. It was Saturday afternoon, and it was the MacGyver pilot. I said, Henry, this is amazing. He said, well, you've got to get approved by Paramount. And the guys, there are two guys that have to approve you. One fellow is heading Paramount syndication and production. His name is John Pike. I said, that shouldn't be a problem. John was my executive producer at WBZ for years. He gave me my going away party. He said, well, the other guy's at the network. And I had just been offered a job for $50,000 to do two specials, $50,000 each. I'd been out of work for a couple of months. And he said, they won't be able to make a decision until Tuesday after they meet you. I said, but Henry, I've got an offer on the table. I have to tell him by Monday. He said, well, Tuesday's the earliest. So I met with John, of course, and John said, oh, yeah, come on aboard. But I didn't hear on Monday, and on Tuesday I still hadn't heard. So I had to tell my wife that I was going to pass up on $100,000 of work on a maybe from the guys at NBC, at ABC. And so I took the shot, and I passed on the job, and then about 4 hours later, I got the call from Henry. They said, yeah, come on board. You got approved. So then we had to figure out who MacGyver was. And the script was amazing. And so we started our auditions. And the first guy through the door was a guy named Richard Dean Anderson. And he left the room and we said, that's MacGyver. It's the first guy through the door. This can't possibly be right. And we went through 60 other people. And sure enough, Ricky was the first guy through the door. Came in with a bombardier jacket on and khakis, and I think he had that because he'd read the script. I think he had the Swiss Army knife with him too. Great fun. I was line producing and second unit directing, and so I was having a ball.
What did that really entail? What were your duties on the show?
Going to set, working on budgets with the directors, and then any place there was a hole in the show, I would go out with 5 or 6 characters and a band of second unit people, and we'd shoot all the holes that needed to be filled. It was an interesting show because it was large in scope and small in detail. So, Ricky would go up and he'd go, and there'd be a smoke thing, and that was fine. But then I had to go in and shoot all the stuff, all the close-ups that led to the, and matching into it was really kind of interesting. And Paramount wasn't ready for it because it was expensive, very expensive show to do. But working with Henry and John was great. John Rich was an amazing guy. Pretty cantankerous. Let me correct that. Overly cantankerous. Not liked by a lot of people. And his brother was worse. I mean, that's what everybody said. Oh, you should have met his brother. But John was so smart. So the guys were trying to figure out what Paramount's overhead was in their budget. So John sends a runner to the commissary to buy a Coke. And it was 90 cents. And he sends the same runner to Ralph's to buy a Coke. And it was 40 cents. He said, now I know the overhead. The difference between the 40-cent Coke and the 90-cent Coke was the overhead Paramount was charging us on the show. I'll never forget that. Amazing. Guys could have been working on books for years, You'd go out and buy 2 Cokes.
Why did you leave the show?
I left the show because it moved to Canada. And it was at a time where I had just seen a Japanese game show on television, and it was time for me to maybe start my own company.